Well, hi everyone. It's Tabitha Jane here. I am so excited. I am at 768 subs. This means the world to me. Thank you so much. You guys are always so kind to me. I just feel like I'm the luckiest creator because you guys are just flat out nice. Like, thank you. Thank you for being so nice to me. Um it just every time I turn on my phone and just pop up and I see the amazing and nice and encouraging things that you say to me, and I am so thankful because, like I say, I always feel like if you're giving me the gift of your time to listen to me trying to put these um, stories together, then I feel bad. Like I always try to be really worth your time. And so then when you like take the time to write something nice to me too, or we interact and stuff, it just makes me feel so good. So thank you so much. And I love reading that you guys had some of the same recipes for the holidays and everything like that. So I have been waiting for this for a long time. I am by no means a subject matter expert in all things Delphi, not at all. I go to at True Crime Design. I feel like she's done the most extensive research, and she is just on point. She really gets in there, breaks things down, writes things up, and in a way that you're going, oh, wait a minute, that makes sense. Okay, I get it. I was frustrated because of the secrecy behind the case. That the autopsies are sealed, so Abby and Libby's sorry, boo boo, even their cause of death was not known, and that is very unusual for a case because usually you'll know when the coroner releases the or when the autopsies are released. You'll have that information, and then it kind of goes down, breaks, cases break down, break people come up with information on who had that kind of weapon, blah blah blah. There are ways to go. But with this, everything has been shrouded in secrecy. And so when Allen was arrested, Richard Allen was arrested, then it was like, okay, we're going to get some information. And then they sealed his arresting documents, which is affidavit for arrest, which is virtually unheard of. So I'm the kind of person that I have to see the documents for myself. I need to see the charging documents. I need to see the autopsies. I need to see where this happened, you know, what the geography is around that area, who's who. Um, I get into the social media of the people involved and really look and make my own um, kind of lists and see where I am confused in certain things, and then I go and find the answers in this or that. And just really haven't been able to because everything has been so shrouded in secrecy. And when that happens, that lends way to conspiracy theories. And I am to the point where I don't even believe in conspiracy anymore. I think it's incompetency. I think that people think that those that go into law enforcement um, have some type of a skill, a virtuous skill that they were born with, and that if you scratch their forehead a few times, you'll see this third eye, and then yes, they go into law enforcement, and then they can figure things out, and their magic and everything, and it's like, no, they're just people, and they chose a job, and they went to basically it's an associate's degree. Most of the time, your police officers have a 2-year degree. You'll have some that have a bachelor's degree, but not many. Um, and so they don't have this extensive education. And not to say that you need an education to be brilliant. I mean, there are people who prove that every day. But I think that we have TV shows that wrap cases up quickly. We have TV shows that show that we have technology that we don't. We have TV shows that wrap up a case in, what is it, with an hour long show with commercials is what, 48 minutes. So from when they start and the case is delivered, it's all signed, sealed, and the perpetrator is put behind bars, and good wins and truth is out, all in under an hour. And we don't have that in the real world. And people don't get that. I was raised by a detective, and I didn't like him, and I was in a small town, and I had to figure out how to sneak out, have parties in the same house downstairs in a split level 80s house, and learn how to run away, and never get caught for weeks at a time when I was 14 years old, running away from the only detective in town, and all of his buddies. So I had to learn how to outthink the police when I was very young, and I did so. And so my brain works a little bit different. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and I'm almost finished with my master's in forensic psychology. So in my spare time, I just kind of read cases, and I've started my channel. I started it in June, and like I say, I'm really excited. I've got 768 subscribers, so thank you very much. So when I saw that the charging documents for Richard Allen went up today, I wanted to just get on it and read them, because I know a lot of people are like me, and they like to just put on their headphones and listen. So if this works for you to, listen to me while you're in your commute or whatever, and get smarter by the moment, and not have road rage because you're just listening to me talk and give you kind of Nancy Grace style stories here, because Nancy Grace is my spirit animal. So here we go. Bombshell tonight. State of Indiana plaintiff versus Richard M. Allen, the defendant. And this is the order or judgment of the court. So we're going to get right to this and just go in here. See what we've got. It's 12 pages long. So it starts with, the court, having had this matter under advisement following a hearing conducted on November 22nd, 2022, and having considered the evidence submitted and the arguments of counsel, now denies the state's verified request to prohibit public access to a court record in part. The court finds that the state has failed to prove by clear and convincing evidence that the affidavit of probable cause and the charging information should be excluded from public access. The court finds that the public interest is not served by prohibiting access, and that the protection and safety of witnesses can be ensured by redacting their names from the affidavit, and that the defendant's personal information can be removed from the charging information. Now that's huge. That's huge. That paragraph right there says a lot more than you think. It's saying that the court is saying, why are we keeping this all under lock and key? And like I say, I think they're to the point too where they're going, okay, this is breeding a lot of conspiracy theories, and we're doing this. Why? I really like Florida. Florida has the Sunshine Law, where essentially what they've done is, how back in the olden days when we used to do our laundry, and we would leave our laundry out for the sunshine to dry it, make it all fresh and clear for everybody to see your bloomers. Well, that's the concept. So that's why it's the Sunshine Law, because it was like, okay, put your dirty laundry out for everybody to see, and for the sunshine to make it clean and pure again. Let everybody see. There should be no secrecy. And that's why people think that, all crazy stories come out of Florida. No, it's just that you can get everything all of the court documents. I mean, there's some that they redact, in some details, but for the most part, you can get everything, all of the details out of anything that happens in Florida because of the sunshine laws. And that's where some of our high profile cases have came out of Florida. But there are other cases that are just as interesting, salacious, odd, that come out of other states, but it's just we don't have access to the documents that we do in Florida. So, anywho, the court notes that the prosecuting attorney submitted charging informations and a probable cause affidavit at the November 22nd, 2022 hearing. Think about those numbers. 11222022. Anyway, hearing that was redacted, eliminating the witnesses' names and identifying personal information of the defendant. Those documents will be released to the public and made part of the record of this cause. The original charging informations and affidavit of probable cause shall remain as sealed and confidential court records as they are not redacted. The court further finds that the media intervener's motion for leave to intervene is moot and therefore denied. Court orders that the redacted charging information and affidavit for probable cause submitted by the state and the hearing conducted on November 22nd, 2022 be filed with the clerk of the court with this order, and further that the clerk shall not release without court approval the original sealed unredacted informations and affidavit. Now, this is dated November 28th, 2022, and that is signed by Special Judge Francis C. Gull in Carroll Circuit Court in Carroll County, Indiana. Okay, so there we go. Now, we're going to go here, and we have the charging documents. So the state of Indiana, County of Carroll. State of Indiana versus Richard Allen, date of birth 9/9/1972. So that makes him 50. He just had his 50th birthday then, September 9th. Last four of his social are 3934. The rest is redacted. And this is for Carroll Circuit Court, cause number 08C01 TAC 2210 TAC MR TAC 01. And this is the information. The word information is packed when you're talking about court things. Just as a side note, like they will say, I'm serving an information, and you're going, what do you mean? Do you have some information? Do you have something to say? Why don't I just say it? What's up, weirdo? No, the word information is a packed word in these formal statements. So that's why it might sound a little bit odd to you in the vernacular if you're hearing that for the first time. So we've got count 1 of murder, a felony. I.C.35 TAC 42 TAC 1 TAC 1 and in parentheses 2, Nicholas C. McLeland, being first duly sworn upon his oath, says that on or about February 13th, 2017, in the county of Carroll, the state of Indiana, Richard M. Allen did kill another human being, to wit, victim number 1, while committing or attempting to commit kidnapping of victim number 1. All of which is contrary to the form of the statute in such cases made and provided, to wit, I.C. 35 TAC 42 TAC 1 TAC 1 hyphen 2 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Indiana. I affirm under the penalty of perjury as specified in I.C. 35 TAC 44.1 TAC 2 TAC 1 that the foregoing representations are true, and that is signed by Nicholas McLeland, And that was approved on October 27th, 2022. And it says that his term as judge expires December 31st in 2022. And that has a bench warrant, bond is set, and it's blank. And then we go over here, and we've got the state of Indiana, and we're going over here, and this is the cause number. And that's another information. And the same information as previously stated is as such. And we're going with basically the same template, with the only difference in what I've previously stated on the other page is that it says Richard M. Allen did kill another human being, to wit, victim number 2, while committing or attempting to commit kidnapping of victim 2. Okay, and then again, this was approved on October 27th. His term expires December 31st, 2022, and that was signed by that Nicholas McClelland. And nothing is set in that bench warrant. There we go. And then we go over here to Carroll Circuit Court, October 22nd. And we have State of Indiana versus Richard M. Allen at 1967 Whiteman Drive in Delphi, Indiana, 46923, with the date of birth 9/9/1972, and the last four of his Social Security being 3934. And it says the court will please enter the following minutes. The State of Indiana by Nicholas C. McClelland, prosecuting attorney, files a probable cause affidavit executed by Tony Liggett and information for count 1, murder, a felony, and count 2, murder, a felony. The defendant being in custody, the court determines that probable cause does exist. The court sets bonds in this matter at, and it's all blank. And it doesn't have anything for the initial attorney being set at or on. Those are blank and blank. And the entry was approved by Benjamin A. Diener, a judge in the Carroll Circuit Court, and it looks like it was signed down electronically by Nicholas McClelland, the prosecuting attorney. And his attorney number, bar number, is 28300 TAC 08. And in our probable cause affidavit, we've got cause number, and that cause number is 08C01 TAC 2210 TAC MR TAC 01. And this is the State of Indiana, County of Carroll, State of Indiana versus Richard M. Allen. The probable cause affidavit. I, the undersigned affiant, submit the following information pursuant to I.C.35 TAC 33, TAC 7, TAC 2, as a sworn affidavit setting forth the facts and circumstances known to law enforcement of Carroll County as the basis for probable cause to arrest without a warrant or establish probable cause for issuance of an arrest warrant of the above named defendant. And that would be Richard Allen. The facts and circumstances below would be sufficient basis for a person of reasonable caution and prudence to believe that the accused has committed or attempted to commit the offense described, and that if arrested without a warrant, such would be authorized under I.C. 35 TAC 33 TAC 1 TAC 1. That the hearsay statements of witnesses contained herein are considered reliable and credible due to the witness's personal knowledge and are corroborated by the totality of the circumstances. Okay? Now here we go. Here we go, guys. After all of that, we're going to go here. That on February 14th, 2017, victim number 1 and victim number 2 were found deceased in the woods, approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry. It's Monon. So is it Monon? anyway, their bodies were located in the north side of the Deer Creek. They didn't put north side of Deer Creek. They said of the Deer Creek. Okay. I'll go through that one more time. It was a little bit weird. That on February 14th, 2017, victim number 1 and victim number 2 were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. Their bodies were located on the north side of the Deer Creek. Okay. So those of you who know this area, that's probably very significant. And I'm gonna... Okay, so we've got 0.2. And we've got northeast. I bet you they're going to put a GPS in there. But, so 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge. That bridge freaks me out. It doesn't have any side rails or anything. I would never go on that bridge. That bridge is scary. Very scary. Oh, north side of Dirt. I'm going to draw this out because this is really interesting. At the time, the Monon High Bridge Trail was an approximately 1 mile gravel trail terminating at the Monon High Bridge. The Monon High Bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle, approximately 0.25 miles long, spanning the Deer Creek and the Deer Creek Valley on the southeast end of the trail. Approximately 0.7 miles northwest on the trail, from the northwestern edge of the Monon High Bridge, is the Freedom Bridge, which is a pedestrian bridge spanning State Road 25. Approximately 350 feet west of the Freedom Bridge was a former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25, in parentheses, also known as County Road 300 North. The trail terminates just west of the former railroad overpass. The majority of the trail is in a wooded area with a steep embankment on the south side of the trail. The entirety of the trail and the location of the girls' bodies were and are located in Carroll County, Indiana. Through interviews, reviews of electronic records, and review of video at the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators believe victim number 1 and victim number 2 were dropped off across from the Mears farm at 1:49 p.m. on February 13th, 2017 by, that's redacted, and we know that's the sister, right? The Mears farm is located on the north side of County Road 300 North, near an entrance to the trails. A video from victim number 2's phone shows that at 2:13 p.m., victim number 1 and victim number 2 encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. The male ordered the girls, and he said these words in parentheses, "Guys, down the hill." So the male ordered the girls, "Guys, down the hill." Those are girls. Why'd you call them guys? So apparently that's what they heard on the phone anyway. "Guys, down the hill." Okay. No witnesses saw them after this. I also am interested in the way that they use the word ordered. So it says the male ordered the girls, "Guys, down the hill." So it must have been like, "Guys, down the hill." No witnesses saw them after this. No outgoing communications were found on victim 2's phone after this time. Their bodies were discovered on February 14th, 2017. The video recovered from victim number 2's phone shows victim number 1 walking southeast on the Monon High Bridge while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. As the male subject approaches victim number 1 and victim number 2, one of the victims mentions gun. Near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, "Guys, down the hill." The girls then begin to proceed down the hill and the video ends. A still photograph taken from the video and the guys down the hill audio was subsequently released to the public to assist investigators in identifying the male. Victim number 1 and victim number 2's deaths were ruled as homicides. Clothes were found in the Deer Creek belonging to victim number 1 and victim number 2, south of where their bodies were located. There was also a .40 caliber unspent round less than 2 feet away from victim number 2's body, between victim number 1 and victim number 2's bodies. The round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. Interviews were conducted with 3 juveniles, blank and blank. They advised that they were on the Mononhigh Bridge Trail on February 13, 2017. They advised that they were walking down the trail towards Freedom Bridge to go home when they encountered a male walking from the Freedom Bridge towards the Mononhigh Bridge. Blank described the male as kind of creepy and advised he was wearing like blue jeans and like a really light blue jacket, and his hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he really did not show his face. She advised that the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. Blank advised that she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. She described him as not very tall with a bigger build. She said he was not bigger than 5'10". Blank also advised he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She stated he had his hands in his pockets. Blank showed investigators photographs she took on her phone while she was on the trail that day. The photographs included a photo of the Mononhigh Bridge taken at 12:43 p.m. and another one taken at 1:26 p.m. of the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. Blank advised after she took the photo of the bench that they started walking towards the Freedom Bridge. She advised that when they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken by victim number 2's video, Blank described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She advised the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath his jacket. She advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to approximately his shoulder. Note here, it doesn't say how tall she is, so that's kind of confusing because she's saying that she came up to like his shoulder and he was taller than her without mentioning how tall she is. I would think that they would put that in there, but maybe they do somewhere else. She advised Blank said hi to the man and he said nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. She stated he had his hands in his pocket and kept his head down. She advised she did not get a good look at his face, but believed him to be a white male. The girls advised after encountering the male, they continued their walk across Freedom Bridge and the old railroad bridge over Old State Road 25. Investigators spoke with Blank, who advised that she was on the railways on the trails on February 13, 2017. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store captured Blank vehicle traveling eastbound at 1:46 p.m. toward the entrance across from the Mears farm. Blank advised she saw 4 juvenile females, walking on the bridge over Old State Road 25 as she was driving underneath on her way to park. Blank advised there were no other cars parked across from the Mears farm when she parked. She advised she walked to the Monon High Bridge and observed a male watching the one from victim number two's video. She described the male she saw as a white male wearing blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. She advised he was standing on the first platform of the Monon High Bridge, approximately approximately 50 feet from her. She advised she turned around at the bridge and continued her walk. She advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area across from Mears Farm, she passed two girls walking towards the Monon High Bridge. She advised she believed the girls were victim number 1 and victim number 2. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store shows at 1:49 a white car matching, then it must be a blank, vehicle traveling away from the entrance across from the Mears farm. Blank advised she finished her walk and saw no other adults other than the male on the bridge. Her vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvest Store video at 2:14 p.m., leaving westbound from the trails. Blank advised when she was leaving, she noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the Old Child Protective Services building. She said it was not odd for vehicles to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because of the manner it was parked. It was backed in near the building. Investigators received a tip from Blank in which he stated he was on his way to Delphi on State Road 25 around 2:10 p.m. on February 13, 2017. He observed a purple PT Cruiser or a small SUV-type vehicle parked on the south side of the old CPS building. He stated it appeared as though it was backed in to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. Oh, that's a good... I see what they're saying here. A little note here. In some states, you have to have a license plate visible on both the front and the back. I wonder if Indiana is one where you only have to have the back. I've lived in states where you don't have to have it in the front, and I don't like it in the front. I think it looks really tacky. I mean, like in the back, where it's made to be, it's fine, but, I don't like it on the front of my ride. I see why I see this, and so that's a really brilliant observation of this person. Interesting. Blank both drew diagrams of where they saw the vehicle parked, and their diagrams generally matched as to the area the vehicle was parked and saw the manner in which it was parked. Blank advised he remembered seeing a smaller, dark-colored car parked at the old CPS building. He described it as possibly being a smart car. Blank vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 p.m. on the Hoosier Harvest Store video. Investigators spoke with Blank, who stated that she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13, 2022, and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of the 300 North away from the Monon High Bridge. Blank advised that the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket and blue jeans and was muddy and bloody. What? What? Whoa. I'm going to repeat that. Observed a male subject walking west on the north side of the 300 North away from Monon High Bridge. Blank advised that the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket and blue jeans and was muddy and bloody. What? Muddy and bloody. She further stated that it appeared that he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store that blank was traveling on CR 300 North at approximately 3:57 p.m. Bloody and muddy. Looking like he got in a fight. I hope those girls kicked him in the frickin' huevos. Through interviews, electronic data, photographs, and video from the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators determined that there were other people on the trail that day after 2:13 p.m. Those people were interviewed, and none of those individuals encountered the male subject referenced above, witnessed by the juvenile girls blank and blank. Further, none of those individuals witnessed victim number 1 and victim number 2. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard M. Allen in 2017. That narrative said, Mr. Allen was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30. That's military time for 1:30 and 3:30. So between 1:30 and 3:30, Mr. Allen was on the trail. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the new Freedom Bridge. Well, at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember a description, nor did he speak with them. He walked the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. What's a stock ticker? Is that like a stock market? Like, sorry, what's a stock ticker? So wait a second. Let me just visualize this. A scary-ass bridge with no handrails. You're walking and you're looking down at your cell phone so you can't see anybody because you're looking at a stock ticker and you're walking on the scary-ass bridge with no handrail. Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He stated that there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge trailhead. However, he did not pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or video. His cell phone did not list him an IMEI, but did have the following. MEID TAC 256 691 463 100 153 495. MEDHEX MEID HEX TAC 9900 24702 5797. Potential follow-up information: who were the 3 girls walking in the area of Freedom Bridge? Investigators believe that Mr. Allen was referring to the Child Protective Services building, as there was not a Farm Bureau building in the area, nor had there been. Investigators believe that the females he saw included blank and blank, due to the time they were leaving the trail, the time he reported getting to the trail, and the descriptions of the 3 females gave. Okay. Investigators discovered Richard Allen owned 2 vehicles in 2017. A 2016 black Ford Focus and a 2006 gray Ford 500. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembled Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the Hoosier Harvest Store video at 1:27 p.m., traveling westbound on CR 300 North in front of the Hoosier Harvest Store, which coincided with his statement that he arrived around 1:30 at the trails. Investigators note witnesses described the vehicle parked at the former Child Protective Services building as a PT Cruiser, small SUV, or a smart car. Investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to a 2016 Ford Focus. Well, I guess they're all cars. On October 13th, 2022, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. So, wait a second. Little side note here. What have they been doing for 5 years? What? I. This case makes my blood pressure go up the more I look into it and hear of things, and I don't get it. I don't get why they've let 5 years pass. It's ridiculous. It is not fair to the families, to the community, those poor girls. On October 13th, 2022, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. He advised he was on the trails on February 13th, 2017. He stated he saw juvenile girls on the trails east of Freedom Bridge and that he went on to the Monon High Bridge. Richard Allen further stated that he went out onto the Monon High Bridge to watch the fish. Later in his statement, he said that he walked out to the first platform on the bridge. He stated he then walked back, sat on a bench on the trail, and then left. He stated that he parked his car on the side of an old building. He told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood. He advised that he may have been wearing some type of a head covering as well. He further claimed that he saw no one else except for the juvenile girls he saw east of the Freedom Bridge. He told investigators that he owns firearms and they are at his home. Richard M. Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, also spoke to investigators. She confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richard still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. On October 13, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant of Richard Allen's residence at 1967 North Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Carroll County, Indiana. Among other items, officers located jackets, boots, knives, and firearms, including a Sig Sauer Model P226, the .40 caliber pistol with a serial number U625627. Between October 14, 2022 and October 19, 2022, the Indiana State Police Laboratory performed an analysis on Allen's Sig Sauer Model P226. The laboratory performed a physical examination and classification of the firearm, function test, barrel and overall length measurement, tests firing, ammunition component characterization, microscopic comparison, and NIBIN. I don't know what that is. The laboratory determined that the unspent round located within 2 feet of victim number 2's body had been cycled through Richard M. Allen's Sig Sauer Model P226. The laboratory remarked, "An identification opinion is reached when the evidence exhibits an agreement of class characteristics and a sufficient agreement of individual marks. Sufficient agreement is related to the significant duplication of random striated impressed marks as evidenced by the correspondence of a pattern or combination of patterns of surface contours. The interpretation of identification is subjective in nature and based on relevant scientific research and the reporting examiner's training and experience. Investigators then ran the firearm and found the firearm was purchased by Richard M. Allen in 2001. Richard Allen voluntarily came into the Indiana State Police Post on October 26, 2022. He spoke with investigators and stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow the Sig Sauer Model P226 firearm. When asked about the unspent bullet, he did not have an explanation of why the bullet was found between the bodies of victim number 1 and victim number 2. He again admitted that he was on the trail but denied knowing victim number 1 or victim number 2 and denied any involvement in their murders. Carroll County Sheriff's Department Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Blank has been part of the investigation since it started in 2017. Little side note, why are they not stating the detective and his badge number? That's interesting. Anyway, Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Blank has been part of the investigation since it started in 2017. He has had an opportunity to review and examine evidence gathered in this investigation. Detective Blank, along with other investigators, believe that the evidence gathered shows that Richard Allen is the male subject seen on the video from victim number 2's phone who forced the victims down the hill. Further, that the victims were forced down the hill by Richard Allen and led to the location where they were murdered. Though these statements and photographs of the juvenile females in the statement of Blank and Blank were at the southeast edge of the trail at 12:43 p.m. east of the Freedom Bridge and at 1:26 p.m. and walked across the former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25 after 1:26 p.m. and before 1:46. They walked the entirety of the trail and observed only one person, an adult male. Blank, which is seen on Hoosier Harvester video at 1:46 p.m. and leaving at 2:14 p.m. As she stated, she only saw one adult male, Blank and Blank, described the male in similar manners, wearing similar clothing, leading investigators to believe all four saw the same male individual. Investigators believe the male observed by Blank and Blank is the same male depicted in the video from victim number 2's phone due to the descriptions of the male by the four females watching the male in the video. Furthermore, victim number 2's video was taken at 2:13 p.m. and Blank saw only one male while she was on the trail from approximately 1:46 p.m. to 2:14 p.m. Investigators believe that Richard Allen was the male seen by Blank and Blank and the male seen in victim number 2's video. Richard Allen told investigators he was on the trail from 1:30 to 3:30 that day. Video from Hoosier Harvest Store shows a vehicle that matches the description of Richard Allen's vehicle passing at 1:27 p.m. towards the former CPS building. The clothing he told investigators he was wearing matched the clothing of the male in victim number 2's video and the clothing descriptions provided by Blank and Blank. A vehicle matching the description of his 2016 Ford Focus is seen at or around 2:10 p.m., 2:14 p.m., and 2:28 p.m. at the former CPS building. Through his own admissions, Richard Allen walked the trails and eventually hiked to the Monon High Bridge and walked out onto the Monon High Bridge. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. Investigators identified other individuals on the trail, or CR 300 north, between 2:30 p.m. and 4:11 p.m. None of those individuals saw a male subject matching the description of Richard Allen on the trail. Furthermore, Richard Allen stated that he only saw 3 girls on the trail, who investigators believed to be, and it must be blank there. Investigators believe Richard Allen was not seen on the trail after 2:13 because he was in the woods with victim number 1 and victim number 2. An unspent .40 caliber round between the bodies of victim number 1 and victim number 2 was forensically determined to have been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model P226. The Sig Sauer model P226 was found at Richard Allen's residence, and he admitted to owning it. Investigators were able to determine he had owned it since 2001. Richard Allen stated that he had not been on that property where the unspent round was found, that he did not know the property owner, and that he had no explanation why a round cycled through his firearm would be at that location. Furthermore, he stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow the Sig Sauer model P226. Investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down CR 300 North. Investigators believe he was seen by Blank walking back to his vehicle on CR 300 North with clothes that were muddy and bloody. Blank, along with the investigators, believe the statements made by the witnesses because the statements corroborate the timeline of the death of the 2 victims, as well as coincide with the admissions made by Richard Allen. Further, the accounts replayed by Blank and Blank are similar in nature, and timestamps on photographs taken by Blank correspond to the times of the juvenile females, and that they were on the trail and saw a male individual. And that's it. What? Okay. Say, this case makes my blood pressure go. Every time I look at it, it leads to more and more questions. It is like you are walking through a house of mirrors where nothing makes sense and everything is twisted. This does not say how the girls died. If, according to this, a gun was used, why aren't they talking about possibly the bullets located in the decedent's victims 1 and 2's bodies and taking those and those striations and saying, okay, these 3 bullets match? Why wouldn't anybody hear the gunshot? It sounds like if there were this many people walking back and forth in this area and a harvest store in the area, people going and looking at fishies over the bridge, just like him apparently. So people going fishing and whatnot, farm nearby. Why wouldn't anybody hear 1 gunshot, let alone possibly 3? Why would any man go and just shoot 2 girls? Well, this doesn't make sense. What was his motive? What was he trying to do? Was he like, oh, okay, you 2 come with me, and then they didn't, and so then he just shot them? Or are we trying to say it's JFK and this mystery bullet went through both of them and landed in between and back? I don't understand. Like I say, I like to believe that there's incompetency rather than conspiracy, but this case just gets weirder and weirder. I was encouraged that this document had been released, and like I say, I wanted to read it first here and read it out loud as I'm going through it. So we can continue to talk about this case too, because like I say, I don't get it, and I don't understand the 5-year gap. Things are lost, witnesses forget, witnesses, things happen to witnesses. Why would this guy, if he did it, keep this gun? Why wouldn't he have made it go swim with the fishies that he was supposedly going to go and look at? Why would he keep it so that he can have it? So when they come and ask him 5 years later? And what about the wife? What did the wife say, that he ever came home looking like he got his ass kicked by 2 little girls? And, I mean, 2 teenage girls, they could have seriously kicked his butt. I mean, if they were just walking and then he does this, 2 teenage girls are going to scream and people are going to hear it. He's not going to have a chance. I mean, because we're talking about a short period of time. Really interesting. Really interesting. Huh. All right, folks. That's it. I smoking gun. Huh. Literally. But literally over here, I'm throwing up my hands. I'm like going, what? These poor girls. These poor girls. I mean, I don't understand. For as many people who were looking into this, and for nothing to have happened for 5 years, and then they just like decide to just go back and interview and be like, hey, you have a gun? They would have known from the crime scene that they had that bullet. And why wouldn't they have asked him then in that first interview if he had that type of gun and taken it? Why 5 years? I don't know. Very, very disappointed. But there's the facts. And that's the document, and I am not sure if there are other documents as far as when the next hearing is, etc., etc. I'll look for them, and I'll keep looking, and when I find something, I'll read it, because that's really all I can do with this case is just kind of read, because I can't figure it out. I can't get any insight. I mean, when people have shown how this guy looks, he kind of, you ever seen those lizards that have the eyes that, like, one eye can go one way and google around and the other eye can wiggle around, and both eyes can kind of go and oogle both ways, and they're both kind of offset? I don't think that's a chameleon. But when I saw him, it was really weird, because a creator put a little short video up of Richard Allen, and I thought it was just a picture, and then he blinked, and I'm like, oh, he's very reptilian. He looks like a reptile. I've never seen such a reptilian. And then I thought of those reptiles with the opposing eyes, and I was like, wow. I wonder if he can do that with his eyeballs, because he's an interesting character. I don't know. I don't see him being a man who would try this, but I don't know. So there you go, guys. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a great upcoming weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.